Today we will learn about porphyria. In last class, we have studied the heme biosynthesis pathway. Have you studied heme biosynthesis pathway? If you don't remember the heme biosynthesis pathway, you cannot remember porphyrias. Okay, they are intricately linked with all the steps and the enzymes. So, heme synthesis starts from succinyl-CoA and glycine, and it takes place in which organelles? Mitochondria and cytoplasm. Okay, and the intermediary steps, how many steps are there? Total 8 steps are there. Okay, so we will discuss once more. But what is porphyria? I told in last class also. I ended the last class by saying what is porphyria. What is porphyria? Any enzyme deficiency disorder related to heme biosynthesis, except allosynthes. Okay, allosynthes, which is the first enzyme, first step enzyme, which helps in combining the succinyl-CoA and glycine, that is allosynthes enzyme. Deficiency of allosynthes will not result in porphyria, it will result in sideroblastic anemia. Okay, so in today's class, we will learn about what is porphyria, what are the classification or types of porphyria, what is the biochemical basis behind them, and signs and symptoms of each types, salient features, whatever of those types, and how to detect porphyria and what should be the treatment in porphyria. Now, porphyrias are inherited disorders, mostly inherited disorders. They fall under inborn errors of metabolism. Okay. Can you name some other diseases that also comes under inborn errors of metabolism? Glycogen storage disorder. Any disorder related to enzyme deficiency because of genetic mutation leading to any metabolic accumulation of intermediate products will lead to inborn errors of metabolism. Why inborn? Because they are inherited. In case of acquired ones, they can occur later in life, but inherited diseases are seen from the birth. Okay, so porphyrias are rare group of inherited disorders resulting from deficiencies of enzyme in the heme biosynthesis pathway. Easy, heme biosynthesis pathway enzyme, when they are deficient, so it will result in porphyrias. How? By accumulation of the porphyrins or porphyrin precursors. So, if any enzyme is deficient, its precursor will be accumulated or the previous molecule or the substrate molecule will be accumulated in case of any enzyme deficiency. So, they can be porphyrins itself or the precursor. What is ALA and what is PBG? ALA is aminolevulinic acid, delta aminolevulinic acid. PBG is porphobilinogen. And porphyria name came from a Greek word porphyra. Porphyra means purple. Purple in Greek word. Okay. So, what is purple? Urine on standing, not the fresh urine. Urine on standing changes color to purple in case of some patients in heme synthesis defect. So, it was seen in ancient time that few people, their urine changed color while on standing. Standing means on keeping the urine outside. Okay. So, it changed color to purple and from that name porphyria came. And I already told that porphyrias are mostly autosomal inherited, autosomal dominant type of inheritance. So, what is autosomal dominant? In case of inheritancy, what is autosomal dominant? What can be the other types? Autosomal recessive and X-linked dominant, X-linked recessive. Okay. So, see, the change of color of urine. This is a normal urine color, and on standing, it will change color to port wine. That is reddish or purplish. So, in porphyria, one salient feature is change of urine color to port wine or purple. Now, this is showing autosomal dominant inheritance. Okay, so in case of autosomal dominant, who is affected here? Here it is unaffected gene, and this is affected gene, affected chromosome. So, in case of autosomal dominant, any chromosome with the mutation will lead to disease. Any autosomal chromosome with the mutation will lead to disease, right? Whereas in case of recessive, we would require both the genes to have that mutation. So, most of them here, what we will see, 50% of the offsprings will show the disorder, irrespective of the other parent's status, right? Now, here comes the heme biosynthesis pathway once again. So, it starts in mitochondria by combining succinyl-CoA and glycine. Okay, here succinyl-CoA and glycine, they are combined to form delta aminolevulinic acid by the enzyme ALA synthase with the help of cofactor. What is this PLP? Pyridoxal phosphate, that is vitamin B6. So, this is also very important. Absence of vitamin B6, that will show the similar effect as ALA synthase deficiency, right? So, next the alpha aminolevulinic acid, it comes from mitochondria to cytosol. Two molecules of ALA is combined by ALA dehydratase to form porphobilinogen. Dehydratase enzyme is removing one molecule of H2O, right? So, from ALA we are getting PBG. Now, what is this porphobilinogen? It is a pyrrole ring structure, first pyrrole ring structure. Now, we require 4 such pyrrole ring structure to form a linear tetrapyrrole chain. So, 4 molecules of PBG, they are combined to form hydroxymethylbilane, which is the linear tetrapyrrole structure, right? Heme is a tetrapyrrole structure, ring in ring form and the enzyme here is porphobilinogen deaminase. Why deaminase? Because amino group is released. Okay, and it is also known as HMB synthase or uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase. Why? Why this enzyme has so many names? Because whether it is at the same time it is doing deamination on porphobilinogen, it is producing hydroxymethylbilane. That's why it is known as HMB synthase. This is easy. But why it is known as uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase? Because this conversion HMB to uroporphyrinogen 1, it is spontaneous. Okay, it is spontaneous, and that's why this formation will lead to formation, like conversion of PBG to HMB will spontaneously produce uroporphyrinogen 1. But we need enzyme to form uroporphyrinogen 3. What is the difference between uroporphyrinogen 1 and uroporphyrinogen 3? It is the arrangement of the side chain substitutes. Arrangement of the side chain substitutes. That what were the substitutes? Acetyl group, methyl group, propionyl group and vinyl group, right? So, the arrangement, if it is symmetrical, like 1, 3, 5, 7, if they are same, and 2, 4, 6, 8, if they are same, they will be termed as one group. In case of 3 group, which side chains are changed? 7 and 8, they are interchanged. So, in case of 3 series, 1, 3, 5, 8 and 2, 4, 6, 7 will be in sequence. Okay. So, for formation of uroporphyrinogen 3, we require an enzyme, that is uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase. From uroporphyrinogen 3, coproporphyrinogen 3 is produced. Okay, and the enzyme is decarboxylase. Carbon dioxide is removed, decarboxylase. Okay, so decarboxylation results in coproporphyrinogen 3. Now this coproporphyrinogen comes into mitochondria, and by the enzyme coproporphyrinogen oxidase is converted into protoporphyrinogen 3 or protoporphyrinogen 9. Both are same. 9 or 3 in case of protoporphyrinogen, they are same. Okay, so protoporphyrinogen 3 is formed. Next comes the enzyme protoporphyrinogen oxidase. It converts protoporphyrinogen 3 to protoporphyrin, or the first porphyrin in body, right? So inside body in heme synthesis, first porphyrin. What is porphyrin? It is the tetrapyrrole structure without the ferrous iron. Ferrous iron. So protoporphyrin, by ferrochelatase enzyme, it incorporates ferrous iron and heme is produced finally. So this pathway should be very clear. Okay, why? Because deficiency in any enzyme will lead to some kind of porphyria or some kind of inherited disorders. So to start from allosynthetase. Okay, allosynthetase deficiency will lead to sideroblastic anemia, which is not porphyria, but it will result in formation of immature RBCs that will lead to anemia. Okay, so anemia will be seen in case of allosynthetase deficiency. Next comes the alladehydratase deficiency. So this is a autosomal recessive disorder. Okay, autosomal recessive, not dominant. So this is very, very rare. Alladehydratase deficiency porphyria will lead to accumulation of ALA. Okay, and this is very rare. Now, uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase or PBG deaminase or HMB synthase deficiency. This will lead to the most common type of porphyria, that is acute intermittent porphyria. Okay, so and such on, there are various porphyrias I will teach in details. So before proceeding to each types, we should know the classification of porphyria. So porphyria can be classified according to the organ or the cells where the enzyme is deficient or defective. So what are the organs where heme synthesis takes place? No, I am asking about the organs, not organelles. Heme synthesis majorly occurs in bone marrow, some part in liver, and in all other, like very minutely in all other cells. Okay, so majorly like 85% occurs in bone marrow. Okay, so that is erythropoietic line of heme synthesis. In case of hepatic line, it will be hepatic porphyrias. So if the enzyme is defective or deficient in erythropoietic cells of the bone marrow, it will result in erythropoietic porphyria. Okay, and hepatic porphyria results from enzyme deficiency in hepatic cell. Okay, these are distincts. Okay, so in case of porphyrias, anemia is not seen. In case of porphyrias, anemia is not seen. Why? Why not seen? Because as porphyrias are autosomal dominant inheritance type of disease, it requires only one gene to be mutated, right? So another one is normal, another set is normal, and that set of gene can produce normal heme, will produce normal hemoglobin. So that will be sufficient for body's heme requirement. But this enzyme deficiency will lead to accumulation of some part of the intermediates that will lead to porphyrias. Okay, so that's why if asked in explain why questions, why anemia is not seen in porphyrias, so this should be your answer, as most of them are autosomally dominant type of disorders. So one pair in one chromosome, it is mutated, another one is okay, all right. So it will produce heme normally and it will be sufficient for body, right? So erythropoietic and hepatic porphyrias. Now coming to different types according to the enzyme involved. Here ALA synthase, I told you it is X-linked sideroblastic anemia, which is erythropoietic type of disorder, which is not porphyria, but it will produce anemia. Okay. Next comes the porphyrias, ALA dehydratase. ALA dehydratase, second enzyme, will lead to ALA dehydratase deficiency porphyria, which is hepatic type of porphyria. What will be seen or major signs and symptoms will be abdominal pain and some neuropsychiatric symptoms or neurological symptoms will be there. Next comes the most important or most common type because of the deficiency of enzyme uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase or PBG deaminase or HMB synthase deficiency, and it is named as acute intermittent porphyria. How common is this? One live birth, in 10,000 live birth. Okay, so it is most common type of porphyria, and it shows again abdominal pain and neurological symptoms. Next comes uroporphyrinogen 3 synthase. You have to remember the pathway, heme biosynthesis pathway. What are the next enzymes? So next after this comes uroporphyrinogen 3 synthase. Deficiency of this enzyme will cause congenital erythropoietic porphyria. This is the erythropoietic type of porphyria, congenital erythropoietic porphyria, and this will show photosensitivity. Why photosensitivity? Because deficiency of uroporphyrinogen 3. See here, uroporphyrinogen 3 synthase deficiency will lead to accumulation of HMB, hydroxymethylbilane, which can be spontaneously converted into uroporphyrinogen, and there will be conversion of uroporphyrinogen to uroporphyrin, which is photosensitive in nature. Okay, what is photosensitivity? In sunlight, they will react and produce reactive oxygen species. Okay, so and they act as what? Reactive oxygen species. They are oxidant in nature. Okay, so they act as toxin and they break the lysosomal enzymes. All the lysosomes are broken and skin rashes, skin reactions will be seen in sunlight exposure. That is known as photosensitivity. So here in congenital erythropoietic porphyria, because of the deficiency of uroporphyrinogen 3 synthase, there will be accumulation of HMB. HMB is the first tetrapyrrole structure, linear tetrapyrrole structure, which can be spontaneously converted into uroporphyrinogen 1, and that can be further converted into uroporphyrin, which shows photosensitivity or which reacts in sunlight, resulting in photosensitive reactions in our body. Okay, so photosensitivity comes from that. Now, next enzyme uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase deficiency will result in porphyria cutanea tarda. Porphyria cutanea tarda is a hepatic type of porphyria where photosensitivity is seen. So, uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase will result in accumulation of uroporphyrinogen 3 and HMB. So, both uroporphyrinogen 1 and uroporphyrinogen 3 will be accumulated. So, it will show much aggravated photosensitivity. And the name of that porphyria is Porphyria cutanea tarda. From the name cutanea, it is related to cutaneous reaction. Cutaneous means skin related. Okay, so skin related disorders will be seen. Next, coproporphyrinogen oxidase. It results in deficiency of this enzyme results in hereditary coproporphyria, that is accumulation of coproporphyrinogen. Okay, this will result in both photosensitivity and abdominal and neurological symptoms. These two, coproporphyrinogen oxidase deficiency and protoporphyrinogen oxidase deficiency, named as hereditary coproporphyria and variegate porphyria, both are mixed kind of porphyrias. Okay, not they are, although their origin is hepatic, but they show photosensitivity also because of accumulation of coproporphyrinogen and uroporphyrinogen. Okay, clear? So, the last enzyme, that is ferrochelatase or heme synthase, deficiency of ferrochelatase will result in erythropoietic protoporphyria. So, ferrochelatase, where was that? Ferrochelatase. So, deficiency of ferrochelatase will result in protoporphyrin accumulation. Okay, and this will again show photosensitivity, because by feedback inhibition all other intermediary products will be accumulated. Fine. So, these are the types and their names and their clinical symptoms, more or less. You have this chart in every, we will get this chart in every textbook. Okay, you have to read it on your own. Now, among all other porphyrias, which are mostly autosomal dominant, two are autosomal recessive. Okay, which two? This can come as your MCQ question. One is congenital erythropoietic porphyria, another is ALA dehydratase deficiency porphyria. Okay, so congenital erythropoietic porphyria was because of deficiency of which enzyme? Uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase, and this one ALA dehydratase deficiency, this one is also autosomal recessive type of disease. Now, in most cases this condition is heterozygous. Why heterozygous? Because one gene is mutated, another one is not. That's why they are usually asymptomatic. Asymptomatic means there will be no anemia and no major symptoms. Okay, they will seem normal initially, but situation can be aggravated by various factors. Okay. So, here all the names and the steps and enzyme defect. Okay, you have to remember this very, very seriously. Okay, this is asked. So, next, what are the biochemical basis of major signs and symptoms of porphyria? Now we know the enzyme deficiencies, what are the enzymes that are deficient and what will be the porphyria type. Now we have to know what are the signs and symptoms and why those signs and symptoms occur. So, in case of initial enzyme disorders, defects like initial step enzyme disorders, that will lead to accumulation of ALA and porphobilinogen. Okay, so accumulation of ALA and porphobilinogen will lead to abdominal nerve irritation and central nervous system compression. Okay, so that will lead to abdominal pain and neuropsychiatric symptoms or neurological symptoms like seizures, headache, head reeling, all these. Okay, irritation, and sometimes in acute cases psychiatric symptoms can also be seen. So in case of initial enzyme defects. Now in case of enzyme blocks in later in the pathway, it will result in accumulation of porphyrinogens, uroporphyrinogen, coproporphyrinogen, protoporphyrinogen, protoporphyrin. All these will lead to conversion of porphyrinogens to porphyrin derivatives. Like uroporphyrin will be formed, coproporphyrin will be formed when exposed to light. What will happen? It will get oxidized and there will be formation of oxygen radicals. Okay, so these oxygen radicals will injure the lysosomes and damaged lysosomes will release enzymes, lysosomal enzymes that will cause skin damage. Skin injuries will be seen, skin rashes will be seen on sunlight exposure. Okay. So two different pathways are there for different symptoms. Like for ALA and PBG accumulation, there will be neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. Whether for accumulation of porphyrinogens in skin and other tissues, there will be photosensitivity. Right? Now coming to individual types. I will discuss three major types, that is, one is acute intermittent porphyria, one is congenital erythropoietic porphyria and porphyria cutanea tarda. Not in much details, just to touch all the important points and how to identify if asked with a image or with MCQs. Okay, so here it is the most common type of porphyria, which is autosomal dominant inherited, and the deficiency is in PBG deaminase. Okay, so it will result in accumulation of ALA and PBG in blood and urine. So accumulation of these will not result in change in urine color because there is no porphyrinogen. Without any porphyrinogen, porphyrins cannot be produced. Okay, so what happens? Here mostly in case of acute intermittent porphyria, mostly abdominal pain will be there and neurological symptoms will be there. Fine. So urine will be colorless when voided, but because of PBG to porphobilin conversion, it will start to change color. Okay, so initially urine color will be clear. Next, there will be no porphyrins excreted or elevated in blood because there is only ALA and PBG. Taito, ALA and PBG, so no porphyrin is there, so no photosensitivity will be there. One thing to remember in acute intermittent porphyria, that is drugs like barbiturate can aggravate the symptoms. Okay, not only drugs but starvation can also aggravate situation. Next comes congenital erythropoietic porphyria. So acute intermittent porphyria, all the points, okay, clear? Next comes, so this is a hepatic type of porphyria. Next, congenital erythropoietic porphyria, major manifestation is photosensitivity because of porphyrin deposits in skin and other tissues. So reactive oxygen species or free radicals, they are produced and will lead to lysosomal enzyme breakdown and skin reactions. So in case of congenital erythropoietic porphyria, another thing is seen, that is reflected UV light shows red fluorescence in teeth. Okay, so if UV light is projected on teeth of this kind of porphyria patients, it will show a red fluorescence known as erythrodontia. And there will be repeated attacks of dermatitis and scarring leading to typical facial deformity, often referred as monkey face. So in case of congenital erythropoietic porphyria, what will be the symptoms? Erythrodontia. This redness, red fluorescence on UV light, okay, seen in case of patients of This was not porphyria cutanea tarda. This will be congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Okay, this is a mistake. And this is the facial feature of congenital erythropoietic porphyria patient. So we can see scarring of face and receding gums, red teeth, and what are their other skin lesions. So if such question comes like with a image and there are options like what is your probable diagnosis or what is seen this patient having. So that will be congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Okay, here it is porphyria cutanea tarda symptom. So there will be excessive skin rash due to photosensitivity. Why? Because there is accumulation of both uroporphyrinogen 3 and 1, right? And also coproporphyrinogen also. So porphyria cutanea tarda, it is the second most common type of porphyria. After acute intermittent porphyria, porphyria cutanea tarda is the second most common type of porphyria. Now, porphyria is related to various myths, and that is related to the myths of vampire. Why? Because most of the signs and symptoms, they are related to the features of vampires. What are they? First of all, sunlight sensitivity. In case of photosensitivity in porphyria or the reactions, people with porphyria, they prefer to stay indoor, not to come in sunlight. Next, pale skin. Pale skin can be because of anemia or underlying disorder, severe disorder. Now, protruding teeth, as the gums will be receding. Okay, so gums will be receding. Receding gums means gums will be decaying and teeth will protrude. So it will look like fangs of vampire. And garlic allergy. Garlics aggravate the porphyria symptoms. So all these symptoms match with a vampire. Porphyric patient matches all the symptoms with a vampire myth symptoms. Okay, but so this is a myth, and because of it, porphyrias are also known as vampire disease. Okay. Now, all we discussed till now were inherited porphyrias. There are few porphyrias that are acquired also, and acquired porphyrias are because of chemicals or diseases that will lead to inhibition or decreased production of the enzyme. So what are they? Mainly ethanol and lead poisoning will lead to PBG synthase inhibition, and that will be similar to porphyria. In case of some malignancies, HMB synthase is blocked and it will mimic acute intermittent porphyria. Okay. So in case of chronic renal failure also, UPG decarboxylase is blocked or inhibited. In case of various diets, liver disease and lead, mercury, arsenic poisoning, CpG oxidase also can be inhibited, and in case of iron deficiency anemia and lead poisoning, ferrochelatase can be blocked. So see one thing, lead poisoning will cause the main type of acquired porphyria. So if asked what is the most common cause of acquired porphyria, that will be lead poisoning, and lead poisoning is very common because lead pipes were used for water transport. So lead poisoning was kind of very common. So they will show the similar symptoms such as inherited porphyrias. Now how to detect? How to detect porphyrias? So if we estimate or measure the precursors that are getting accumulated and they are excreted in urine, we will get to know what type of porphyria is it. So if we will be getting ALA and PBG, so we can easily assess which is been blocked, and till which intermediate we are getting, we will decide that which enzyme is deficit along with the clinical features also. So we have to go by hand in hand. We will see the whether there is photosensitivity or not, whether there are neurological signs there are not, and what we are getting in urine and blood. Okay. So laboratory test, mostly spectrophotometry is used for detection of porphyrins and their precursors. We will get coproporphyrins and uroporphyrins in urine detected by Ehrlich's reagent. Okay, so Ehrlich's reagent will help in detection of coproporphyrins and uroporphyrins. So how porphyrins are formed? From porphyrinogens. Coproporphyrinogen will be converted into coproporphyrin, uroporphyrinogen will be converted into uroporphyrin, and that can be detected by Ehrlich's reagent in urine. And for UV fluorescence demonstration, like in case of ultraviolet ray exposure, there will be strong red fluorescence emission from urine. Okay, from urine, and also from symptomatic finding like erythrodontia. So laboratory test includes spectrophotometry, Ehrlich's reagent, UV fluorescence. Next, treatment. So how to treat porphyria? So it is a genetic disorder, we cannot treat it completely. We have to treat porphyrias symptomatically. So whatever the problem we are getting, we have to treat it. So if accumulation is more, we have to give the enzyme from outside, or enzyme is not that easily available. So we have to block those enzymes, block the previous paths. Okay, so that the accumulation will not be there. Okay, so how to do that? Dietary changes and heme derivatives. If we provide the next heme derivative or dietary changes, and we should avoid drugs that can cause the production of cytochrome P450. What is cytochrome P450? Enzyme complex that helps in formation of free radicals. So there should be less free radicals. Already the porphyria patients, they are photosensitive, so drugs like whatever barbiturates and all, they can produce excess cytochrome P450, leading to much more production of free radicals. So that is not required. So drugs like such kind of drugs should be avoided. Okay, and beta carotene administration has been of some use because they decrease the production of free radicals and helps reduce the photosensitivity. Use of sunscreen or filters to decrease photosensitivity, and in we have seen that intake of carbohydrate and hematine substituents. What is hematine? In last class I have told, when the ferrous changes to ferric, it is known as hematine or hemine. So hemine or hematine compound can block the enzymes, ferrochelatase. Okay, so this will further stop the production of this porphyrin precursors. Clear? So what are the treatment modalities? Basically symptomatic, dietary change and administration of heme derivatives, avoiding drugs that can produce cytochrome P450, use of beta carotene to decrease photosensitivity, uses of sunscreen, dietary modification with large amount of carbohydrate, and incorporation of hematine or heme replacement, so that ALA synthase diminish the production of ALA and PBG, right? Okay, so next comes the MCQs. Answer this question. A deficiency in which enzyme is responsible for acute intermittent porphyria? This is the easiest of all. Acute intermittent porphyria. Which one? Acute intermittent porphyria because of the deficiency of PBG deaminase. PBG deaminase is also known as HMB synthase. HMB synthase or uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase. Okay, so any name of these enzymes can come. So answer will be HMB synthase or PBG deaminase. Right? Clear? Ferrochelatase deficiency will lead to which porphyria? Erythropoietic protoporphyria. Uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Decarboxylase Cutenia tarda, and aldehydatase, it is a separate deficiency porphyria. Which of the following substances accumulates in the urine of patients with acute intermittent porphyria? Acute intermittent porphyria te which substances are accumulated among these? Coproporphyrinogen. Is coproporphyrinogen formed in AIP? Porphobilinogen, it can be accumulated. Uroporphyrin, no. Protoporphyrin, no. So answer will be porphobilinogen. Okay. If there was ALA will also be accumulated. Okay. Because any product, any excessive accumulation of the precursor will lead to blockage or feedback inhibition of its previous precursor. Okay. Next, which of the following drugs should be avoided in patients with AIP? Barbiturates, easy. Most porphyrias are inherited in which pattern? Autosomal dominant. Name one with autosomal recessive. LR, dehydratase deficiency, and most common one, like commoner than LR dehydratase deficiency is congenital erythropoietic porphyria. So 3 porphyrias you have to remember with sign and symptoms, everything. One is acute intermittent porphyria, one is congenital erythropoietic porphyria with monkey face, and another one is porphyria cutenia tarda. That is second most common. So now the last question. Which porphyria is caused by a deficiency of uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase and often presents with skin fragility and blisterings? Congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Then porphyria cutenia tarda. Whenever skin fragility and blistering is mentioned, I have already shown the pictures. Okay, so scarring is present in case of congenital erythropoietic porphyria, but fresh wounds and blisters will be there in porphyria cutenia tarda. Right? Lab findings are such and such. So, what is your diagnosis? And what are the biochemical basis of those diagnosis? How will you treat the patient? So, this can come as a clinical case question. Okay. Other than that, acute intermittent porphyria, porphyria cutenia tarda, or congenital erythropoietic porphyria can come as short note. In case of explain why sideroblastic anemia is not a porphyria. Okay, why in porphyria there mostly anemias are not seen? This can be asked, or in MCQs though there can be various questions. Clear?